Hello everyone! Today we're going to learn how to mess with drop-downs in Bootstrap 4. First thing, create your HTML documents, import the Bootstrap 4 stuff, okay? Then you are going to create a basic drop-down menu. First thing is going to create a big div with the class drop-down. Then you are going to create a button, type button. A class which will be button and button primary. The button will transform your button link or input into button. And the button primary is just the color of the button, the color scheme type. Then you are going to drop-down toggle. In the data toggle you put drop-down. What does it mean? It will simply turn out to be able to do the drop-down, okay? After the drop-down and the drop-down toggle, you are going to write whatever you want. I wrote a drop-down button, but if you want you can put click, okay? Simply close the button and create another div. The div is going to add with the class drop-down menu, and everything in the drop-down menu will be shown when you click on it. Then we are going to create a lot, as many as you want. Drop-down list. Makes more sense to create anchors, but we'll get a little bit more complex in the video, okay? In the video. Now imagine that you want to create a simple divider and put the link 3 after this divider, okay? You save it, and here you see that line that HR as an example. Yes, it's a simple line that divides your content. Yes, to do the drop-down divider, don't forget you need to put a hyphen in the class. And we don't need to put anything because it's just a simple line. Now for the header. You can also add a drop-down header. We just created a div with a class drop-down header and create a drop-down header and just change the text, okay? Put header 1. Save it, we click it, header 1. You imagine that you want to create another header right under the drop-down divider. Just put the 2. Okay, header 1, header 2. Looks nice, doesn't it? Now, right under it, under everything else, I'm going to just put another 2 items, drop-down items, of course, and show you the active and the disabled. The classes, okay? Classes. So the active is going to be where you are at the moment. Active is going to be with the color of the button, I think. Let me just change so we can make sure. Okay. Okay, no, it's always blue, I think. It looks like it's always blue. Okay, it doesn't matter. After that, you have the disabled. Disabled, you will not be able to click on it. You will also not have a hover, and you cannot nothing, okay? It's just like a simple text. Now in here, on the div class, you put drop down, you just add drop right. Instead of dropping down, it will actually drop the right. And if you change the right to left, it will drop to the left. Well, it will not in this case because it's right in here, but let me just do something about it. It's not really floating to the, not floating, but it's not dropping to the left, okay? But I'm going to float it. I'm going to float it to the left, to the right, so you can have space to the left. Float, here we go. Now it is floating right and it's dropping to the left. Now imagine that I have a really big text in here, and instead of opening it in the left, I want to open it in the right. So I just add drop down menu right. Not here, sorry. It's not in here. I think it's in here. Check. No, it's not. Let's have it. So it's in the drop down menu. In the drop down menu, in the class, in the div where you have all your items, put it drop down menu right, and it will open in the right instead of opening in the left. Now let me just remove it so it will not be confused. Instead of div class drop down, you can put drop up, and we are going to need to put it down. I'm going to do something that you should not do, but it works. Now we have space. You see, you click it and it actually drops to the drop up. I don't know if you still remember, but I've talked about links that doesn't really make sense to have text in here, but Bootstrap made it, okay? Bootstrap made something that will look like a text. Instead of putting only drop down item, put even text, and it will be just text, okay? Just text. Now drop down menu with buttons. First thing is going to be a div class button group. Now we are going to do group buttons with drop down. I've already teach you guys how to do it in my video about buttons, but let's get right and fast in here. The button group is simply creating a group of buttons. And then you create one button, which will be the first one, with the class button and button primary. Type button, very easy, very simple. The type of the button depends the color, okay? Change the name and the color change. Then create another one, same thing. Then you create a button group inside the button group, which will have the button type button with those two classes. Should have same colors, please. And then you put a drop down toggle, which will allow you to drop down stuff. The toggle, the drop down, and after that you put the text and close the button. And inside another drop down menu, you create your items, which will be like this. Very easy to do. Another thing that I already showed you guys in the button tutorial, it's the button split with a drop down. So the first thing, create a div with a class button group. Then create a button with type button, of course, and with the button and the button primary classes. After that, you put a name and close the button. Now you create a second button, which is going to be this arrow, and it will have the class button primary. You should have the same colors, okay, please. Then you put drop-down toggle and drop-down toggle split. Drop-down toggle will allow you to make the drop-down. The toggle will allow you, the split, sorry, will allow you to be different buttons. The data toggle is going to call the drop-down, which is going to be the drop-down menu. Now the drop-down item, you can put as many as you want. You can put text and you can put the divisions and whatever you want. And now the vertical group buttons, okay? Instead of having all those you had, you are going to create a div class with button group vertical instead of being only the group button group. In that, you are going to create a button, the class button primary. Don't forget, just the color, just the design of the button. After that, you are going to create another something, and the main thing is here. The button group will be drop-down toggle, drop-down toggle, the drop-down, simply as for, put the name, and you put the drop-down menu with those items. The only thing from the button group and button group vertical is this thing. If I remove it, it became a normal one, okay? It's very easy. For this video, it's everything. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you soon.